What's up, everyone? So we are live and we have finally, well, maybe we just got our first retracement. So right now, when I look at the markets, they are clearly overheated, right? Technical indicators are through the roof. And at the same time, I think that a lot of people are still plowing funds into anything and everything they can. Now, I don't think in the long run it's going to be a bad idea, but think of it this way. So back in once again, his history lesson, back in 2017, right? Everyone plowed their funds into a $20,000 Bitcoin. I wouldn't be surprised that people have plowed their funds into a 40,000 Bitcoin as well. Okay? So nothing wrong in the long term. I think it's pretty proven that given enough of a time horizon, you would definitely benefit as long as you're willing to tide through the very long cycles. Now take note, even if BTC retraces, hear me out, and this is just in the event that 40,000 is the all-time high for the year, we are still in a bull market. Okay? We are still in a bull market because the whole world doesn't care about altcoins, guys. The whole world doesn't care about altcoins. They only care about Bitcoin, and at most, they only care about Ethereum. They don't care about whatever the coin that you've been talking about. Well, maybe XRP. XRP has been on the news lately, and of course, from a technical standpoint, they did have a nice pop. So, I would say that right now, we're seeing everything correcting, right? Because let's just put it this way. There is the speculative value, and then there's the actual intrinsic value. Well, when I say intrinsic, I wouldn't mean there are a mixture of fundamental intrinsic value where you have the long-term investors who have very much all or a lot of in-the-money positions, depending on what altcoin. And then there is that speculative value, which will go up and down very quickly. Like literally, it's very hard to determine the range, especially this early in the year. Okay, so when I look at BTC, Ethereum, BTC, Ethereum, you look at XRP. XRP to me right now is going to be highly speculative. Like they are facing a lawsuit, but I think the lawsuit isn't going to be a big deal at the end of the day, right? As long as they're willing to pay the fine, right? If they're willing to pay the fine or they're willing to settle out of court with the SEC, I think they should be fine. That being said, that's just one aspect. But I think from a fundamental overall perspective, we have already been way overheated in the market. Obviously, there are still continuously crazy projections that are coming out continuously saying that Bitcoin is going to hit 150,000, 250,000 by the end of the year. Now, I cannot say that I'm an expert. Never will I ever dare to say that because the market is just irrational. Now, why would it even hit 150,000 or why would it even maintain at the current $40,000 range? I would say that it would be due to how we fare this year economically, right? How much stimulus is going to be printed? Like how much more stimulus will the US print, right? Is it 2 trillion? Is it 2 plus 2 or whatever, right? So the more cheap liquidity, and as long as interest rates are going to maintain at an all-time low, you're going to have a lot of cheap money. Literally a lot of cheap money, guys. And if people are going to be refinancing their loans, whether is it a corporate debt to their mortgage, right? Suddenly they have this surplus amount of US dollars, right? And you'd be surprised how that is going to be utilized to generate more funds. Sounds pretty familiar, isn't it? Well, we in the crypto space have experienced that with the yield farming or yield mining, where you're literally hunting, you're collateralizing whatever asset that you have, and then you're borrowing on that amount. From there, you go and put it into another asset that has a higher yield. So that's what is exactly happening in the markets at the moment. So for now, although we are having this retracement, right, I think I'm gonna keep it really chill. My personal strategy is relatively simple. I'm gonna just be a hodler because I did take profit on most of my things. Like I mentioned in my previous videos, I took profit on most of my things along the way. Now, obviously, I can never pick the peak, right? I can never, wow, okay, yeah. So that was a bit of a tongue twister. Pick the peak of the market, but I told myself that I want to have enough USDT to capitalize on any pullbacks. Now, the mistake that I made the last time back in 2017 was re-enter the market too early. So let's just rewind a little bit back to the 2017-2018 period. Okay, so the 2017-2018 period, what was it? 20k or 19 over k BTC. After that, there was this correction in the beginning of the year, like we are kind of experiencing right now. But I would say that maybe if this is just a mini retracement before another push upwards, I would say I'm pretty shocked because I noticed that the dominance is also dropping, which possibly favors alts. I'm keeping my hands crossed because I just love to trade the altcoins, right? And I feel that a lot of the altcoins are they're not having their day of glory yet. You know, it's just like they're all just following BTC's move. They have not truly shown their stuff. And I do see certain cryptocurrencies actually maintaining a certain price support, but that's still too early to say. Okay, so I would think that, okay, so let's just put it this way. Where do I feel that the money is going to flow next? Or at least if, let's say, we have a correction and we have a consolidation. So, okay, before I get into that, maybe I cover the three scenarios first. So those who are watching for the very first time, there are always three scenarios in crypto. BTC going up, BTC maintaining a consolidation or sideways pattern. That means it's moving in a range. And of course, BTC going down. Okay, so let's cover the going up. So as you know, when BTC is going up, altcoins will not be favorable, meaning that altcoins will always underperform BTC's BTC's price movement. You just can't beat it, right? So if you are, for example, in a you have a financial objective of gaining more satoshis, your altcoin has to outperform BTC in order for you to get more BTC. Okay, so that's stacking satoshis, as they say, or stacking sats. However, if BTC is continuing to trend upwards rather aggressively, you're not gonna have that. You're not gonna win. You would best just park your money in BTC and that's just it. But I do, however, see the dominance dropping. So what does that mean? Meaning that people are shifting their BTC to altcoins. Now, to which specific altcoin? That's always the magic question. Everybody wants to have that anti-gravity play, but it's kind of hard to gauge, and it's always very time specific, as I say. So since people, or if people, or majority of the market are feeling that 40,000 is the peak and they start spending, they start moving their BTC to altcoins, then okay, you're starting to see that shift. Because it's 2x already. Okay, let's just face it, it's 2x. Okay, in a very, very short period of time. Just look at the charts, it's parabolic. Now, if we look at the second scenario, which is BTC consolidating. So what does that mean? Consolidating just means that it's moving in a very, it's moving in a fixed range. So let's say that fixed range is 35,000 to 38,000. That is extremely exciting because all the altcoins will start to move for the fact that we have a higher market cap. We finally crossed $1 trillion, guys. Like I've been talking about this $1 trillion for like the past 3 years. And I said, the moment we cross 1 trillion, the whole market dynamic will change because everything is more expensive. Although everything is more expensive, you are seeing for once, right? You're seeing that the values of your overall portfolios, especially if you made very good picks through 2018, 2019, and 2020, you will clearly see that your altcoins have already increased in value. Hands down, even with this recent correction, right? I'm still in the money, guys. And I only love buying altcoins. I don't buy BTC. I just like to buy altcoins. So my portfolio has already increased substantially because I've been accumulating for the past 3 years. Now, does that actually apply to anyone who is coming in recently? Depending, right? Because now it becomes very time specific. You're like having a little bit of a ticking time bomb, because as the market goes up in a parabolic manner, altcoins tend to follow, because okay, as long as BTC doesn't make any sudden movements, especially usually downwards, your altcoins will still start to move. But if you are having very erratic and downward movement, your BTC, for BTC, your altcoins are gonna suffer, because there's always that multiplier effect. So the third scenario, which is going down. So when BTC goes down, right, unfortunately, all altcoins will suffer in terms of a higher multiplication factor. So you have this scenario where, let's say if BTC was to drop 5%, your altcoins, depending on the price support and how many people are willing to stay invested at the higher price points, tends to be very low. But at some point, if there is a decent, strong fundamental in that altcoin, you will see that the price remains very supported, and there are not enough speculators. There are not many speculators. There are more investors, and investors tend to have strong hands. They are not gonna dump just because there is a small a retracement, or at least even if it's a lot, they are still willing to hold the price. So that's where we want to kind of find these altcoins and start dollar cost averaging into them. So I've been waiting for a retracement, and I did look like I started taking profit in September of last year. So I have cash, and at the same time, when the market was moving up, I took profit on the balance of my remaining exposure for altcoins. So that's the plan. Okay, right. So as people are saying, okay, will there be more institutional buying? Okay, I think let's put the institutions aside first. The institutional buying story you can only play that tune so many times during the year, because institutions, at the end of the day, they have a certain period where they want to be invested, right? Or they will come in at a certain price. Right now, I don't think it's a great price as in if you even bothered to look at the technicals, right? Because BTC is truly technical. Fundamentally, sure, it's becoming stronger, but does it warrant a 2x appreciation, right? It's questionable. So right now, if let's say someone was to come in with the ability to buy one Bitcoin at 40,000, and sure, they may have billions sitting in their reserve fund. Not many companies can actually do that if you think about it. Like, you have to have at least right, 100 million to at least 500 million. Okay, let's just assume. Okay, 100 million to 500 million. But how much would that move the market at the moment, if you think about it? Because right now, if we're at a $1 trillion market cap, that is about 10%, right? So 100, yeah, correct. So 100 million, yeah. So 100 million is 10%. Wait, yeah, correct. 100 million is 10% of 1 trillion. So yes, it may move the market slightly, but I would say that right now we are much more in a denser ocean, a larger ocean, as they say. Last time, 100 million would easily move our $150 billion market cap, right? Like, easily. Right now, it's just a small drop, maybe not even 10%. Shit, 100 million is like maybe 1%. Yeah, anyway, the math is not very good in my head. So right now, I would say that when you have dry gunpowder, or you're stepping into the market for the very first time, try to be a little bit more patient. I think what I can say is be more patient. Don't be too excited to buy into the first few dips. Allow the market to really start cooling off. When you see it start cooling off, then you start reallocating and reallocating, not rebalancing, but reallocating into certain altcoins, right? So right now, okay, everybody was asking, what are the altcoins? So what are the altcoins that are gonna be the most favorable? Okay, I was about to get to that. So to me, the DeFi space is still going to offer the best ROI, at least for the long term. Because in the past, right, when I looked at the exchanges, there are only so few exchanges that are willing to be generous with their price movement. Whereas exchange coins tend to be, oh wow, okay, so 100 million is only 0.01%. Okay, so thanks for the El Prentio. Thank you so much for the correction there. Okay, so right now, if you think about our current scenario, I still feel that the DeFi space has still the best possibility to enjoy the ROI. I really, really do. Because think about it this way. Only the DeFi platforms are able to generate enough, they are able to attract more liquidity. They want to attract both sides, right? They want to attract people who are willing to buy and speculate on altcoins. And at the same time, they attract liquidity providers, okay? And being that it's a more free, the tokens are more free to move in terms of price compared to an exchange token that tends to be more suppressed. Okay, Huobi is a very good example. A good part of the past 3 years, okay, wait, they launched their token in 2018, okay, at $2 or maybe $1, okay? And right now it's about $5.50. It went up to a high of $5.95. Huobi token, by the way. And yeah, for a good part, they didn't really turn a very good profit. Okay, so they didn't turn a very good ROI, return on investment. But if you think about it, their price is very, very strong in terms of support. They didn't really tank too aggressively, and they did recover very quickly, but it's just range bound. So from an investor standpoint, it's rather relatively stable. BNB has been doing exceptionally well in the market currently. BNB is currently at about 42, maybe $40 after this correction, and may go to sub 40. So when I looked at their overall portfolio, when I looked at their overall holdings, every single company holds a good amount of BTC and a good amount of Ethereum. So they always hold the top two, which leads me to believe that if you're looking for the possibility of the best return on your investment, long term, very, very long term, we're talking about more than 5 years, and longer than 5 years to 10 years, BTC is the way to go. But in the short term interim, if you're looking at perhaps the next 3 years, 1 to 3 years, Ethereum actually is long overdue for a bigger price movement than we are today. So that's my rationale, okay? So it's very no-brainer for people who are in the space, but for people who are very new and for people who are totally new, like they don't know anything else. And I've been asking folks who are using, for example, Coinbase. There are not many coins. There are more coins, but they're definitely not more than Binance. And Binance US is rather restrictive or has a smaller selection compared to the Binance that is used globally, or at least when the US citizens were able to still use Binance. Okay, so I think everyone is a sentiment to that. So what happens is that why I still say Uniswap, Curve, SushiSwap still offer more variety, because there's no restriction to the type of tokens that can be bought on those exchanges. You see, there's no KYC that needs to be done. Although you can't do the limit orders, the stop losses, it's a straight swap, but at least people have the freedom to buy whatever altcoin they want. So that's why I feel that the tokens within the tokens for all the DeFi platforms will start moving first. Now, obviously, there are other sectors as well. For example, smart contract platforms, right? There was a period of time when Ethereum was going up. Ethereum Classic was moving very aggressively. ADA did very, very well. Cardano. You have VeChain, which also did very, very well. But then again, there are very quick retracements. So right now, we want to see whether or not there is price support. So that's still too early to say. There's no point going to the charts now, because if, for example, I do this video, tomorrow is a continuation, okay? Because right now I think it's a Sunday in the US market. So it's no point doing a video or looking at any charts today. I prefer probably looking at the charts Wednesday, Singapore time, and then make a decision from there. Because who knows, maybe this small little retracement that we are experiencing right now it's only just a really small retracement, and then after it tends to go upwards and I look like an idiot. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna keep it chill, just relax. Okay, so let me try to get to the chat right now, and if you guys have questions, feel free to ask. Okay, okay. Okay, so coin collector 82. Right, time for altcoin carnage. Okay, nope. Well, it's still too early to say. We might be experiencing the first bouts of a retracement, which could actually hit the altcoins, but I can't tell that yet. Okay, shorting F right now, got in at 1210. Yeah, you know, that's the thing, right? Everybody wants to have that short. Now, I wouldn't say it's wrong. You know, like when you reach an all-time high, you tend to keep trying. So perhaps a word of caution, like when BTC crossed 20,000, right? Everybody was shorting because it's just common sense to try to want to do that, because technically that was the all-time high. Sorry, that was the all-time high of 2017. So everybody would definitely want to do that. Everybody, and I don't blame anybody for doing that. But do you have a stop loss? Do you have a strategy? Like if you get it wrong, you're not gonna blow your whole stack on that one shot, just trying to get paid on it. You know, if the short fails, that's it. You're just using it to protect your portfolio. I feel that if you do decide to short, you're just using it as an insurance, a small amount on your overall portfolio, just to protect the downside risk. I think shorting is fine with that in mind. But if you're gonna like try to gamble on the situation and you utilize all your hard-earned gains, just trying to short the market, hoping to double or triple your account, I don't think that's very wise. It's always using a small allocation to try to achieve that. It's totally okay, because if we're having a bull market, you are definitely on the wrong side of the coin, my friend. So try to maintain a little bit of risk management on that part. Okay, so no shorting is fine, but just manage that. Okay, okay. Right. So DeFi plus 10% interest shorting. Yeah, guys, okay, BTC retracement goes sideways or alts prosper. Yeah, so I covered that already. More. Any opinion regarding DeFi Pulse Index token? Thanks for the live stream. Okay, I have not actually read into this DeFi Pulse token, so I might need to do a little bit of reading, guys. Like I said, sometimes I'm very thankful that the community is always just continuously having so many ideas for strategies and information. It's pretty sick, right? And this is the part where the mind share is relatively important. So like, for example, when you're sharing all this with me, and if it's in line with the strategy that I have in mind, it makes a lot of sense to start venturing. But one thing about me, I am very conservative in this market. Now, when I mean conservative, try to understand that in crypto is high volatility. No matter what you want to say, it's always high volatility. So I always have this strategy where I structure and keep my resources very, very tight. As much as I would like to throw some funny money at random things, I just feel that it's not very optimal, because we are trying to say, okay, if I try to throw $1,000 into a random token, for example, and I park into random things, sure, it may feel very good when one of those things pops off and does a magic 10x, for example, because 1,000 suddenly becomes 10,000. But then again, how many tokens did I split into? Let's say I had $10,000, I have 10 chances, right, to make money. So one did 10x, the rest all failed or stuck. Now, obviously in a full-on altcoin season that everybody is waiting for, that ratio becomes better. Okay, so perhaps maybe some do 0.5 times more, or some do 2 times more, right? So overall, my win rate becomes better. So everybody is hoping for that. Seriously, everybody is hoping for that. I'm hoping for that. And I know that people who trade altcoins will want a full-on altcoin season. But we have to also understand that sometimes our anticipation and our time frame that we have in mind may not be what the market is ready for. Sorry, and we are not ready for the market as well. So sometimes we just have to wait. And that's the painful part, waiting, right? And that's when we keep switching from one altcoin to another because it stays consistent. And we always have this joke, right? Whenever you move it out of the, like whenever you move out of position, suddenly it moves. Okay, so that's a common joke that always happens. Like you have been holding a token for, say, I don't know, maybe a year, 2 years. The moment you sell, the bugger just decides to pop off. So yeah, like for example, H bar, right? We've been sitting on that position since 3 to 4 cents. Only just last week, it did a 7 cents, and we all thankfully managed to get out at around 6 cents or 6.5 cents. And now it's back down to 4.7 cents. Can you imagine just holding for like 2 years? I think we held for almost 1.5 years to 2 years straight. Like, can you imagine there was only one opportunity and it was just one day that H bar went to 7 cents and that was it. Like, had people not taken profit on that position, right, we are almost back to square one. And that's how intense, or how you have to make sure that you don't have too many tokens in your portfolio so that you can monitor. So that's the next thing I kind of want to highlight. Why I am conservative and why I don't really go around too much. I feel that having too many coins in your portfolio, it's very easy to get distracted. Okay, that's the second thing. You get very distracted because you are trying to absorb the macro picture, and then after that you still have to monitor many mini micro strategies as well, because each particular token may not necessarily be in the same segment of the market. So segments are smart. So segments, or at least I kind of want to segregate them: smart contracts, currencies, you have interoperability, you have NFT, and then after that, last but not least, you have DeFi. I'm sure that there are other sub assets. Oh yes, I forgot privacy coins. For example, Monero, right? So all the old school coins are starting to move. Like for example, you see LTC. LTC started to move again. But is LTC really that big in comparison to Bitcoin? No, it isn't. Like for example, BSV, BCH, right? BSV, BCH, they're not performing as well, and they were the so-called supposedly the true Bitcoin. Well, as Roger Ver was always advertising, he's maintaining that the true Bitcoin, and whatever, all the drama. I don't care about the drama. But right now, BTC is all that matters. It seems that that's the one. That is already clearly the one. But do I like buying or accumulating at this price? Definitely not, right? So it's always about waiting for that next downtrend, and then where's the next sideways movement or consolidation, then reassessing to reaccumulate more Bitcoin or more Ethereum. But my play would be more profits to Ethereum for this 2 to 3 years until we really cross the all-time high of Ethereum. That will be my plan. Okay. Any thoughts on Nano, Totoro? Hey, I like Totoro too. Any thoughts on Nano? Wow. Okay, this token kind of had some I can't remember. I know that it was relatively popular two years ago, but I have already lost touch with Nano already. So I'm sorry, I really cannot really give you an opinion on that. Okay, it seems that BTC gains have not even begun shifting into alts. Would you agree with that? It has a little bit. I wouldn't say I disagree. Neither do I say that I would say that majority of the money is still in BTC because people don't realize what else can I do, right? Like they buy BTC, that's all they know, right? So they buy and they transfer out into their cold wallet. There's not really they don't want to get too adventurous. You know what I'm saying? Because right now you must understand, no? Think about it this way. If BTC is at $30,000, for example, and someone bought that, you must understand that there are only so many people that are able to have the ability to buy a $30,000 BTC. So when they are at that stage, right, I don't think they have a high speculative approach. They're really there to invest for the long term, and they feel that, okay, I have all this cash that I'm sitting on, and I need to move it to BTC because I can clearly see that it's doing far better than gold. It's doing far better than maybe perhaps their stock portfolio, or maybe their mutual funds, or even their property. So the bigger money is coming in. It's a very different demographic compared to the demographic back in early 2017. It's more speculative, okay? And the volume definitely right now is much more. It's more dense, okay? Right. Hey, all right, man, Totoro. Thank you so much. Wow, see? 2017. 5 years and onwards, man. Let's keep going. Like I said, I think anything, if you want to get good at something, even if you're shit at the beginning, right? If you do it for 10 years, eventually you will at least get good at something. You know what I mean? Just do it for 10 years. I really believe that is the mark, right? So yeah. Thank you so much, man. Okay, Pundi X. Okay, I know Pundi X recently popped off from a Satoshi standpoint. But back to it, right? In essence, we are always down to the adoption. We really need to drill down on this, guys. I know speculatively, when we have altcoin season, everything pops off. I think Pundi X is doing great from a development standpoint, but where is the actual adoption and in which countries? So I think their global penetration and presence is always towards emerging markets. Okay, from last I heard when I spoke, it's been a while since I actually spoke to Zach, and it's always emerging markets, right? Venezuela, Argentina, right? You don't hear they are in Germany. You don't hear that they are in UK, right? The bigger, more affluent markets. They're always in the more emerging markets. And emerging markets, don't forget, have a lot of red tape. Now, that red tape can mean any kind of corporate setup being more challenging, political hurdles. For example, speaking to the Ministry of Finance and doing a lot of back and forth. It's actually very tiring, right? So I really admire Pundi X for that aspect where they are continuously pushing and pushing and pushing, but always boils down to funding. Okay, are they generating enough revenue to sustain their long-term footprint, right? To continuously push from country to country, especially when one country, after spending so much time and it says no, it's a no-go because they wanna continue to use whatever existing system that they have, or somehow it's not easy, guys. I would say that it's really not easy. It's just so much to do when trying to get adoption up and running. They didn't do very well in Singapore. I can be very honest with you. They have no presence in Singapore at this current time. They moved out from Singapore. So I think I kind of share that, so I don't really want to repeat myself. It was just basically an attempt, a sandbox environment, trying to get the POS system up and running. But it was a hurdle for the merchants to educate their customers. And in the end, not many people really use the debit card. And I think there are bigger players in the market that are going to capitalize on this. But I feel that maybe it's very different. I'm not a point of sales kind of guy, so maybe it's something that will happen much later. I'm not sure whether they are in Brazil at the moment. Like, I think there has been some interest of trying to get a network going on in Brazil, but I'm not very sure. Okay. I forget if you are okay. I forgot if it was you saying accumulating Ethereum at 250, 300 was like 2019. Definitely was worth the wait. Okay, yes. Accumulating, especially at those times, right? Oh, yes, I did mention that because you see, to me, I feel that if you are someone who doesn't trade, right? And trading is something that has always been a deterrence for a lot of people because of the short-term capital gains. I've repeated myself about this again. But anyway, because you did that and you dollar cost average from 250 to 300, you have already quadrupled your returns already. Let's take it at 1,002, you know? Your portfolio has done 4x just by that simple act alone. And that's just last year, guys. You know what I mean? Like, Ethereum did that last year. And of course, in 2019, it was also very, very low. So if you had the opportunity just to dedicate a small portion of your, salary into Ethereum for the past 2 years, even if you were to cash out and take some cash off the table at 1,200, your short-term capital gains tax is already past 1 year. So I feel that it's really warranted that I mean, I personally would do that, I wouldn't just continue to keep running it and not cash out. So I would, especially if you're the $200 to $300 region individual, you already quadruple your investment. Try to understand, don't be greedy. No matter what, you're still gonna give back a portion of the profits to your country from a taxation standpoint, unless you're in Singapore, guys, or maybe you're in Switzerland or some other country that is very lax with crypto investing or crypto trading. You know what I'm saying? So just bite the bullet and do it. At least you have cash in the bank. You can do a lot of things, or at least bring down to even clear your liabilities. That is something that is just so important, because being financially free is better than keeping up with the Joneses. Being financially free is one of the best, most liberating things, because at the end of the day, right, when you're going to work and you know that you're going to work only to clear whatever credit card debt, mortgage, and you have nothing left in the bank to really spend on and splurge on, it's a very miserable feeling. And I feel that liberating yourself financially, that means meaning clearing your debt and not having to pay any interest to anybody, right, is a good thing. You have more disposable income to do what you want. Every day to every weekend, you don't have to worry. You're going to work just to enjoy yourself. I mean, provided you love your job, right? And you're not dragging yourself to work so that, shit, I have all this stuff that I have to pay. I need to get the bills done. So that's the thing. Yes, Susan for Abundance. Yes, of course I remember you, my dear. I hope that you are truly Susan for Abundance, like a girl and not like, a guy pretending to be a girl. But yeah, Susan for Abundance, definitely I remember you. So follow you a long time. You probably don't remember that I'm lurking again. Been out of the crypto market for a while. Okay, but always come back to hear your sound of reason. Hope you and your family. Oh, yay! Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much, my dear. Same to you. And I hope that during this whole COVID period, you all are staying safe. I think for anything that I really wish for, that I've always never covered, because I'm just the guy that always just dives into the topic. I want to be more relaxed, right? To kind of also say that take care of your health. Stay safe. Wear a mask, guys. I know that it's not compulsory in some of your countries. It's compulsory for Singaporeans. If we want to go out, we're always wearing a mask, right? And I know that it's not. You all have the ability to have the freedom of not wearing a mask, but think about it this way: if there's still continuous lockdowns are happening, take care of yourself and your family. At least do it for your family, you know what I mean? And also have the civic mindedness to care for the people around you. It's not just about yourself, right? If everybody starts thinking for just one other person, right, this whole COVID will very, very quickly be in check. And I'm sure the world wants to open up. Businesses are suffering, man. You know what I mean? If you think about it, businesses are suffering and people are not really able to enjoy themselves to the fullest anymore. Everything is so restrictive. And I'm sure people not only want to enjoy themselves, they want to see their family, right? And not being able to see your family is one of the most painful things. So I really, really hope that this whole COVID just not suddenly, but gradually we become more careful and caring for the other person, whether is it internationally or whatever. We just be more civic minded. You know what I'm saying? It's just very basic. Stop thinking just for yourself. Yeah, of course I still have my BTCF LTC that have gained. Your resounding voice about only gambling what you can afford to lose was always sound advice. Well, yes, that is true. I don't think I ever recommended gambling though, but yeah, I mean, let's just put it that way. Everybody wants to have some fun with their money. So anyway, guys, for the interim, I would say that we all remain chill. We wait for the pullback, and at the same time, if there's any dry funding or at least dry gunpowder that you have, be more slow to allocate. Okay, before I leave, be more slow to allocate your money back into the market. Don't be too eager to come all in at a particular support level or Fibonacci level. Don't give a shit about that. Just build your position for the next 3 to 6 months and let's see how we go. All right, guys. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this live stream. Well, click to subscribe. Maybe unsubscribe. I don't know if you find my channel is a bit Yeah, but anyway, take care. God bless and see you in the next live stream, guys.